Well, how's it going, everybody? I hope everybody had a good sleep. They rise and shine with a good morning. With a good light, right? It's not like we're in morning, but it is morning. Where is everybody? There were some people in here already and now they're gone. Oh, we got some likes, but nobody isn't. It says nobody. Oh, there we go. See who's in the chat room. I'll wait for some people to join in. What's up, Scott? It's morning, it's raining. What's up? Jesus is coming soon. No doubt. Rex sent you. No doubt. You found me from Leak Project is what you're saying? It's friggin' raining. It's pouring right now. Really, really. Hello, everybody. Good morning. It's very interesting what we have to talk about today, what I was going to bring up. And I've never thought that we would, growing up in life, I never thought we would have to have conversations like this. And in the 1980s, even in the 90s, it just felt like the time, there were certain moments in time that just, they meant something, right? When like summer school, spring was coming and summer was coming and school was about to end, right? The whole planet feels the vibe of certain times of year, right? Like certain things signify certain things, certain moments of time mean something, right? And see what's transpiring on this planet right now, right? Our moments of time are being taken. Our free will frequency is being manipulated. And I'm not even like a golf fan, but look at even golf, right? The Masters would sort of be like a symbol of spring, right? The springtime, the golf Masters, now they're having Masters in November. Everything's entangled. Moments of time don't mean anything anymore. And soon we're going to need a middleman for everything. We're going to need a middleman just to play sports. And our computer, our phone, all of this technology has become the middleman. Live sports aren't even really a thing anymore. It's experienced through the internet, right? Certain moments of time are becoming entangled and not meaning anything anymore, right? There's what's good as summer vacation for school and all of this if you're home all year round, right? Things don't mean anything anymore. The time is becoming manipulated. And this is because our free will frequency, all thoughts, all brain waves, all choices, they all have certain harmonic resonant frequencies. And the ultimate frequency is our free will throughout the multiverse. That's the biggest law that should never be tampered with. Harmonic universal law. And this is what is happening. Moments of time don't mean anything anymore. Things are changing. And it's up to us to make them worth something. Right? And it's up to us to realize what's taking place, what's transpiring. We are being purposely dumbed down for this. And the only way is by bringing the light. You can't stop the truth. You can't stop the light. You know, if you start to look in to some of the sacred religions, even into ancient Hebrew and the Kabbalah, there is certain practices that is using hyperdimensional coding to access higher dimensional beings, higher dimensional codes, higher dimensional knowledge, a higher dimensional quantum network that is being pulled, anchored to our dimension. And in Kabbalah, they call the Ein Sof this, like, sort of like a, it's hard to even describe. It's like a nothingness, but an infinite intelligence. It's some sort of quantum, higher dimensional computer network. And I do think it's related to what's transpiring on our planet now, and our free will literally being manipulated. And little by little, our choices, our free will is being restricted. And it's from what I've witnessed that it's inside, pulsating, encoded within the very TV you watch, within the very screens you look at. Everything is encoded with a back, you know, the picture that you're looking at is overlaid, but behind that is encoded with star charts, codes, sigils, binary codes, all sorts of coding that is putting your mind and your brain waves in a certain state. And extremely low frequencies, even like, I think it's like 6 hertz or something, like 6.6 hertz, I think it is, that can plunge you into a depressed state, right? And I do think this is related to the mark of the beast. 6.6 hertz. If you start to move the decimal point, it starts to become 666 hertz all the way down. It's 6.66666 hertz. That way is what plunges somebody into the depressed state. And it would put a harmonic energy signature, a mark on you. And higher beings and higher psychic beings, even us, can be trained to be able to feel for different sensitivities and frequencies. And certainly a higher dimensional being would be able to sense that sort of depressed harmonic frequency on somebody, like a mark would be on them. And it would be the mark of the beast. It's all about harmonic frequencies and harmonic energy grids. And, you know, I had, what was it, like 2 years ago now? I had something come and appear in my car with me. Like it was a real person. I smelt their BO, their body odor, and everything. It's when I was digging deep into the Kabbalah, into the Zohar. When I turned 40 years old, I started looking into it and reading it. And this is the kind of spiritual material that if you get too wrapped up into it, it could drive people mad, right? I was just looking into it for research. I wasn't like worshiping it, but some people, it could drive them insane, even diving deep into it. And when I was doing research into it, one day I sat in my car, went to start my car, and looked over, and there was a man sitting next to me. And it didn't even, like, it frightened me, but it didn't even, like, make me, everything was still cool and calm. It didn't make me all jumpy. Sitting right there next to me, I smelt his body odor, everything. And he was a, you know, long beard, a Jewish man. I could just, I could draw him perfectly. I smelt his body odor. It looked like he was from like about 100 or 200 years ago, the style of dress. And he looked at me and said, "Is Hashem calling you?" With an accent, and then dissipated. And I smelt him still in my car. It was like a holographic code that activated in my car to lure me towards the Ein Sof. Lure me towards that Ein Sof, that emanating light of this higher dimensional intelligence that I do feel is like some sort of galactic computer. Now, how is things like this possible if we're not based on harmonic resonance and frequency and light? We wouldn't be able to appear in physical matter without this sort of technology. This is what makes us be here. This is why we are for sure in a sphere, a torus sphere. We are not in just a flat, it is a torus sphere, a toroidal movement. And the torus field of the universe connects to our brain, in our biosphere. Right behind your third eye, right in your brain, in the middle there. What's it called? It literally looks like the Eye of Ra, the Eye of Horus. This is your grand station where light gets sent to and then gets beamed to your pineal gland and your spinal cord and all of this. Yeah, Jaylene, they do discuss that. They have different levels of the soul, like the nefesh, the ruach, right? And the nefesh is the lowest level of the soul. Like, it stays with the bones. It gets imprinted on the bones in the grave, the nefesh, right? And it gets imprinted right in the Lutz bone, L-U-Z, Lutz. The Lutz bone is a bone that never decays. It cannot be destroyed, and it contains all the information of your incarnation and prior incarnations. This is how people can get resurrected from the dead. It's from the Lutz bone. Even the city of Bethel, it originally was called Lutz. This is the place of Jacob's ladder, where he entered into the higher dimensional realm. And Lutz basically means like like an almond tree or a hazelnut tree, because of the shape of it and what it looks like. But yeah, like I think it's like you guys can look it up. But it's literally on the top of your spine, the base of your brain. And it's at a 45-degree angle with your pineal gland, and they connect to each other. They beam light to each other. Higher dimensional light. And a lot of the ancient Kabbalists, like the Vilna Gaon from Lithuania, Rabbi Luzzatto, who was actually an Italian Kabbalist, Rabbi Luzzatto, the Vilna Gaon, which is Eliyahu ben Shlomo is his real name. And then you got, there's so many of them. There's Rabbi Lo, there's the Baal Shem Tov, who basically started Hasidism. I mean, there's just endless ones. The Ari, you got so many of them. What's the other one that I always talk about too? I forget his name now. It's slipping me. But there's so many. There's so many of them. The one that thought he was Raziel. I forget his name now. I don't know why it's slipping me, but there's so many of them. And the most intelligent of them all were dealing with hyperdimensional codes, like the Vilna Gaon, where they're doing a mental gymnastics in their brain, and every word is encoded with a meaning. Frontwards, forwards, sideways, every which way you can spell the word. They were doing like a mental gymnastics of codes with it, you know. And even the Vilna Gaon was doing like a sort of like divination with the Old Testament, right? He would like open up like 7 pages, 7 words, 7 lines down. He was doing like a weird code, like a way of like doing like a divination, and then point to a certain spot, and then that would be the answer of his question. Like he would answer, somebody would want some sort of answer to a question, and he would I don't know, like it would be like a succession of 7. Like he would open up to like the 7th page of, or the 7th paragraph or something, or I don't know, I gotta look it up again, but to get the exact thing. But he had like a whole way of like doing a divination, and the Bible had to be a 2-road Bible, like where there was two rows of scripture, like on each page. There was a certain Bible that you had to use to do it. Yeah, I mean, not just Moses' bones. I mean, even with Genghis Khan. I've for those that aren't on my Patreon, I've done articles on this on my Patreon. I mentioned it a little bit on Leak Project one day, but you know, the prophecy of Genghis Khan's bones, that whoever owns his bones will be able to rule the world and be able to destroy things and take them over, right? Even Joseph's bones as well, you know. Joseph's bones as well was looked at as very sacred. Many bones. The Buddha, people claim to have some of his bones, or a tooth, right? And of course, the Catholic Church uses all sorts of relics, even dead bodies. They use arms. They'll use a foot, you know, a finger. Even in Hindu, they do this as well, right? Like one of the Jesuits, which one was it? One of the Jesuits, one of the founders of the Jesuits, I forget which one it was now, but his arm is used as a relic because of all the people that he baptized and all of this and all the resurrection miracles and everything that he did with that arm. You know, they took his arm off, and that's used as a relic. Saint Rose of Viterbo, you know, she raised the dead as well. When she was 3 years old, she raised her aunt from the dead. She died at 17. She actually stood in fire and converted witches to Catholicism. She was able to predict the death of emperors and all sorts of things that she did. You know, and she also died at a young age. They use her body as a relic, and after 500 years or so, or 800 years of her being dead, they extracted her heart and put it in a reliquary, and they take it on processions every year. Think about that. That's the ancient Egyptian cult of the dead, revived, still alive. You guys can look that up. It's Saint Rose of Viterbo if you ever want to check that out. Like, I'm not just saying this stuff. I've, you know, spent a lifetime researching and experiencing all of this stuff, and it's endless. And the more you learn, the more you realize how much there is that you don't know. It's really intense. And you know, from my abilities, I'm able to actually do readings. Readings for me are a process. Sometimes they take days. You know, the more I can be in a calmed state, the more I can pull in. And being able to discover somebody's soul mission is really, really special, you know. So there's a lot of times where I'll sit with somebody's information before I do the reading with them, during and after, and you know, it's I could pull in some interesting things. And the higher dimensional information and symbols and feelings that you receive is 100% accurate, right? It's real. You're pulling it from their real timeline, but somehow sometimes being able to interpret it the right way is a whole nother thing. So it's really powerful. Anytime, Jaylene. Just go to the mysticalspiral.com. Bioenergetic reading. I do email readings. You know, I actually have a couple I have to type out today that I did on Thursday. Two of them actually that I did Thursday that I still have to type to the person. So I do some email readings and some that we even do on the phone or on a Skype or something like that, right? So a lot of times it is easier for me just to talk to somebody. Even if I do them in person, I'll have my eyes closed a lot of the times, because sometimes literally physical appearance can throw off your higher dimensional connection, because our physical material programming and realities can make us ungrounded. You know, things can get in the way just from our earthly ways of who we are. So hearing somebody's voice, the vibrations of their voice really works for me. Like that's I can really tap into something really well. Doing it through email is a little bit harder for me, but it helps when I'm in a really calm and relaxed state, or some sort of like emotional stimulated state, you know. So but the voice is pretty much the vibrational energy coming off them is pretty much the frequency, the signal I get. It's like a signal, you know. And literally, like, if there's like a rainstorm or a thunderstorm or something like that during it, it'll throw off my signal. Literally, if there's some sort of electromagnetic disturbance, or a TV turns on, a phone comes near me at that moment or something, or it's changed in some sort of way, like, because I could be on the phone and, you know, you get some sort of electromagnetic distortion and disturbance that way anyway. So once you finally get settled to everything that's going on, if another electromagnetic energy disturbance comes, it's like it'll set you off again. You got to get restarted. It's weird. If there's any like change of the signals going on, I don't know how to describe it. You know, there maybe like a physics professor can describe it a little bit better, you know, but there is some sort of electromagnetic signal and everything involved. I don't know if I should walk yet. It seems like the rain's dying down now. I've been pacing under here. And I think this December or next December, I do sense a big change in December. I think literally this December we're entering into the age of Aquarius with the alignment, the Jupiter, Saturn, all this alignment that's coming. This is like us entering in to Aquarius officially. No doubt Jesus is coming soon. The vortex. Yeah, well, there's a harmonic energy grid across our whole planet, and it does run right through where I am too, right through the Hudson Valley here of New York. You know, this is how certain inner earth, their dimensional craft, and Merkabas appear. They appear on our harmonic energy grid. I think that they can only appear on the harmonic energy grid. There's certain entrance points. Yeah, you can see it. In fact, if you get like the Amarita muscaria mushroom, and you take a pretty good dose of that, you can see it. Definitely, it'll plunge you into it. But some of us can now get there when we reach an 8 hertz sort of brainwave state. But yeah, through ayahuasca, DMT, some ways there's ways to put yourself there. But I don't really recommend that to anyone. I definitely think if you're ever going to do anything like that, you go through a preparation basis of months of your diet, limiting use of computer and TV, sex, everything. You just, it's not meant for you to be like watching TV and on the computer all week, and then on Saturday you trip out. Like I'm gonna eat like crap all week, have sex all week, watch TV all week, be on the internet all week, and then on Saturday I'm doing ayahuasca. It doesn't work like that. It's not meant for that sort of environment, and I don't recommend it because it could bring other distortions into your life and other thought form attachments to arise and get embedded within your bioenergetic layers, your system, and eventually when they get bedded into them, they dig themselves away all the way down through your energetic layers until they get into your physical body, and then physical manifestations and sicknesses arise. So it's not recommended unless you prepare yourself for it, and that's like months of preparation usually. Wow, Scott, yeah, I don't know if you saw the show the other night with Lori Bruno on Truth Frequency Radio, but she's my family. I mean, she's also like a mentor to me, and um, she's 80 years old, and she is a witch of Salem. If you want to call her a witch, that word has been demonized, but she's a mystic. She's a hereditary mystic. And she owned right now the store's closed because of COVID and everything that happened, and she's old and there's a lot going on, but she had a metaphysical store in Salem for 20 years, more than 20 years, called Magica, Magika, Magi and Ka, the soul of the Magi, Magica. So you can still go to magica.org. I'm on her website as well. So she is one of the world-renowned psychic, and she's straight out of Salem. She's been living in Salem a long time now. She also worked in NASA in Huntsville, Alabama during the time of the lunar mission. She worked directly under Wernher von Braun. And so she's very knowledgeable, probably my best interview and favorite guest. Yes, I'm a little biased towards her because she's like a second mother to me, but still, I think she was the best guest ever, for sure. Lori's amazing. At 80 years old, she's still the most amazing. She hasn't lost a step, and it's because she uses her mind. She still uses her mind, and her mind is open wide. How's everybody doing out there? Wow, the Salem Witch Museum, yeah. I got to drive over to Massachusetts to see her again. It's been a while since I've gone there. Love you too, Mark. Yeah, guys, the Long Beach, the Cesar Chavez Park in Long Beach. Do I remember the date? It was like around the time of the vernal equinox, like August, September, like September of 2002, I think it was. Something around there. I don't know the exact day, but it was around that time of 2002. And if not, it was then the September of 2003. I was in it those 2 years. I lived in Long Beach 2002 and 2003, but I'm pretty sure it was 2002. 2002 in like the time of the vernal equinox time, because I remember, that time's always important to me. Like certain equinox and solstice is certain dates I always pay attention to, and it was right around that time, in 2002, I think it was. Yeah, I don't know the exact date, but 2001. I was traveling all those years. Like I had gone from I went to Arizona and then to California, and then from there I ended up traveling to like Thailand and Brazil, and then came back to California, and then went back to New York, and I've pretty much been home ever since then. I came back in like almost 2004, and I had left in like 2001. I actually left New York September 8th, 2001. 3 days before 9/11 happened, and I left from one of the airports where one of the planes was taken from. And something was telling me I needed to be out of New York, and so bad. Like I needed a change of scenery. I felt like I was going to get back into the same old crap with my friends. My friends were dying from heroin overdoses. I was in a band, and people in the band had died that were like some of my good friends, and I didn't want to like get caught back into the same crowd and everything. So I just told my family I was literally going to 7-Eleven, and I went to the Port Authority in New York City and jumped on a bus and went as far as I can go. I would have needed a boat to go any farther. I went to the Long Beach. I went to 16th and Long Beach, where the bus station was. I went all the way to the friggin' other ocean. I went as far as I could. Something was just pulling me there. And, I went through a lot of experiences out there. Like, for a while. Especially that the first couple weeks out there, I was basically just walking around and sleeping outside. I had my guitar with me, and then eventually I started making money playing guitar on the street. I got myself a little job. And I met people, and I was living in an apartment with like 5 other people. So, it was pretty crazy, but I ended up staying out there for like almost 3 years, 2.5 years. But, I was in my 20s at the time, and that was a whole different lifetime ago. Now I'm in my 40s, so it's pretty crazy. But I want to thank you guys for joining me. We're going to go, I actually have a show scheduled for tonight for all of us. And I might even have a couple of surprise guests come in. So, I have 2 shows now. One of them being on the Truth Frequency Radio Network. Of course, you guys know that one on Truth Frequency Radio, the Eye of Ra, which is on Saturday nights. And I also now have Soul Station Radio, which is going to be on Patreon and sometimes YouTube. So we'll check you guys out later, and Spiral out. Thank you.